Hello, everybody. This is Alia Jamal, the Love Coach. We are meeting for another Love Circle. And today we are talking about something that lives so underneath the surface that sometimes we have um, hard time admitting it. And that is trust in life and in God. So what we are going to talk about today, those daily steps that you can take to build that trust. Now, if you have never really sat down with yourself and had an honest conversation, you might just say like, oh no, Ali, I trust God, I trust life. But then I have all these problems going on, all these anxieties going on. So the truth is, when we truly, absolutely trust life and trust God, we don't experience fear. We don't experience anxiety. Yes, they are part of being a human, but when that trust gets so mature, you do face your problems with a very different level of faith, calmness, and unknowing than you would when your trust is not really there. And what actually gets us to a place where we stop trusting life or God? So usually when we're a kid, we are so connected with the spirit. We are in the spirit world and here all at the same time. We are in our imagination. We trust everybody. We love everybody. And then something happened. So it could have been like, then your parents got divorced. And that's when you're just like, okay, why nobody stopped it? Why God didn't stop it? My nephew, he's 5 years old. He just lost his cat 2 days ago. And mommy said that he was like, where did the cat go? And she said, cat went back to God. And he's like, why God took my cat? Of course, there was further dialogue to help him understand that. But when something sudden like that happened, just like, why God did this to me? Because God is not somebody we can have a communication with, who's sitting in front of us. It's a concept that we all have chosen to believe because we have experienced it, but it's always an invisible presence. So when something happened, we're like, we think of God, universe, life, whatever word works for you. We almost feel like, that person should have come forward and saved me, like a good friend. Why that person didn't? So that is when, because we don't understand what God or life or this whole universe is all about, we get very confused and conflicted within ourselves, and we kind of separate from that. Now it almost feels like, you know what, I have to watch out for myself. I need to make sure I work hard. I need to make sure I show up for myself. I need to make sure I always have money. If someone leaves me, I'm just going to try to entertain myself. There's a sense of bitterness within us, like very mild sense of bitterness within us, and also a sense of loneliness within us. Because when we are separating from the power that is supporting us in our awareness, that power never leaves us. In our awareness, when we are separated, it does only harm us. I will give you a human example. Let's say parents are going through divorce. And then one parent is telling the child, your other parent is so bad. Now they are taking out their frustration, or they are like, I want to make sure I teach my child the truth, or I want to make sure my child is protected. But what's happening? The child's identity is attached with both parents. Even though the other parent was like, complete nut job, but the child identity is attached with both of them. And when one of the identities getting tainted, it hurts the child to actually hate that parent. It doesn't hurt the parent in any way, but it hurts the child because their identity is attached to both of them. And that's kind of what ended up happening. When we separate from that power, when the bitterness comes in, we are the one who get hurt. We feel lost in life. When we want to take a really big jump, then we're just like, uh-oh, I don't have anything to hold on to. Any kind of, like, this invisible force and invisible faith, you might be still believing, practicing a religion, believing in God, but it's not fully there. It's more like, empty lip service, that, oh, I believe in God, I know God exists, but then our actions don't really show that, because we are paralyzed by fear and worry and doubt and anxiety. So in order to repair that what we need to do, that is what we're going to talk about. And I have talked to so many clients, potential clients, because usually that is the place where they seek me, is they want to do something and they can think of a time when they were able to do these amazing big things. They were fearless, but now they are not. So we work through what has happened in between that has disconnected them from their own self. Sometimes we compare ourselves to, when I was a teenager, I was so full of energy. I wanted to conquer the world. What's wrong with me now that I'm in my 30s? So that is what's wrong with us. We feel that disconnect. We are not aware of our connection with this unlimited being, this unlimited power, and who we truly are. That's why we feel like, what's wrong with me? And so whenever my mind goes to try to compare my current self with myself in 20s or in my teenage years, I bring it back and I try to focus on, this is where I am right now. And I need to learn how to handle myself, how to motivate myself in this moment. I cannot go back into the past and try to guilt or shame myself into acting that way, because this person who exists right now, she has gone through some things. She was the one who felt disconnected. She's the one who felt lost. The one in 20s had no idea what was about to come. So that is another thing. If you compare yourself with your past self and you try to shame or guilt trip yourself into doing whatever, I used to do it in my 20s, why can't I do it today? Yes, because that person has not gone through what you've gone through. So that is when we are putting compassion and consideration for all that we have been through, and we're still standing here strong and ready to move forward. So that is another aspect of it. Another thing that I see with my clients, they come to me, and most of my clients, they come to me and they say, I am very angry with God. I have never said this to anybody. No one else knows, but I am so angry. Why didn't he stop that person from doing this? Why this happened to me? So all those things are coming to the surface because we have experienced a disconnect with this invisible force that's always supporting us. Not that God has gone on a vacation or life has stopped supporting you, it's always here. So I'm just sharing different ways it can play out in your mind. And now I'll share with you what we can do to reconnect with this power every single day and truly live a life that feels full of ease and flow and not of a struggle every single day. So first thing, the way I'm going to, the terminology or the vocabulary I'm going to use to explain this concept is not going to be of any one religion or going to use the word God. Some people just believe in the universe. They don't even believe in God, and that's all good. I'm going to use the terminology light. So most religion, they do talk about that God is light. It's a presence of that light that creates, that gives unlimited, abundant light. And that light has created you, and you're the tiny, tiny light. And that light has also created all the things that are going to happen for you, all the wonderful, beautiful things. But we do have a free will. And today I'm gonna show you that is how we need to practice that free will consciously every single day. We do have the free will to withdraw from that abundance or not withdraw from that abundance. When we don't withdraw from that abundance, that is when we are getting into the darkness. We're like, where's my abundance? I'm missing it. So we want to definitely cover that, how you can how you could be plugged into light where you are pulling in that light so it creates for you because it wants to create for you. That's why it created you. So it can give you every single thing you could ever imagine. Now, the other aspect of it is life itself. Some people say life is God. Some people, like, there's all kind of terminology, theories, framework that are out there. Look at life in a way, the way I like to look at life is it's an open road. I have a very unique open road, and that road is always going to be there for me because it's only mine. You have a separate road for yourself. So think of like Wizard of Oz. There was a yellow brick road. You have your own specific yellow brick road, and it only was created for you, and it's only going to work for you. No one else can come on it and go on it because it's not for them. They're going to feel pretty lost being in your life. So your life, your situation, your circumstances have been specifically coined for you to develop to your highest version or connect to the highest part of you in this lifetime. So it's very unique to you. It's been created for you. And if we want to go a little bit deeper, for those of you who are interested, our soul chooses that path that I am going to go through this path. I am going to grow and I'm going to transform. And when I come back, I'll be this higher version of myself. Because one thing that soul does, it's always developing. It never stops developing. And being in the human experience is part of that development. So when we talk about trusting life, I'm going to trust whatever I'm going through in life right now. It's serving me. It's not that God is punishing me. Generally, when we go through something challenging, there's somebody around us who try to remind us, you must have done something wrong. It's karma coming back. It's God punishing you. You need to be careful. You need to correct yourself. All that could be true, but also at the same time, God is not punishing you. When we have done something, what karma is, when I have done something, I was supposed to do it. But if that has created an imbalance within me, the opposite energy will happen and it will course correct itself. So let's say if I was thinking bad about somebody, I wish that person get into a car accident. Let's just say, extreme example. I will also get into a car accident just to balance that energy. So that's, we call it karma, and we attach so much shame and guilt to it. But if we look at a bigger picture, we are just like the being that's within us is just balancing that energy. So I was supposed to wish bad for somebody, but at the same time, I course corrected it within myself because that is a built-in mechanism we have within ourselves. So it's not God coming down and punishing us all the time. If right now you are faced with something very traumatic, very tragic, know that this thing has to happen for you to get to your next level. Even though it's so painful to go through it, it's not that someone is against you. Someone is for you. Life always supports you. And that's a belief. That's a belief you can choose to nurture. If you do choose to nurture, it's going to make everything so much easier. Next time a challenge comes to you, be like, oh, I'm going to grow through it. You might not be able to see how you're going to grow through it, but you can start believing that you're going to go through it, and then you'll see the effect. Now, if you don't nurture that belief and you're just like, complaining all the time, why life is so hard for me, why this is happening, you're going to stay stuck in the lower energy. You're going to stay stuck in the friction of it while life is supporting you all along. But let's say you go into the future, 10 years into the future, you look back, you'll be like, oh yeah, that thing actually served me. But in the moment, you couldn't feel that it's here to serve me. But if you consciously nurture that belief, it's here to serve me, it makes the ride so much easier. Now, let's talk about trusting God. So, of course, when we choose to believe something, a force that we have never seen, to a human mind, it seems so out of the world. Like, what? That's crazy. That's why there are a lot of people who do reject the idea of God. Some people focus more on, like, I believe in the universe. I don't believe in one being, higher power that we are calling God. It's all good. The light still exists. The light that has created us, whether we believe in it or we don't believe in it, it still exists. But it is our job to nurture that trust every single day, because your senses never see God. Your five senses never see, taste, touch, smell God ever. But it's your non-physical senses. You just know it. You can feel him. You can hear him. And that requires discipline. That does require dedication. That does require taking some time off from your very, very busy life and just spending a few moments activating those senses. Because presence of God, presence of light is with us all the time. Whether we feel it or we don't feel it, it's always giving to us, whether we believe it or we don't believe it. God doesn't need us. We need that light. Light doesn't need us. We need to be the channel of light so we can go through this experience and live the best experience that we possibly can. So now let's get into what are the 3 things you can do every single day, very simple, that are going to start repairing this trust. Right now, you might feel like, Alia, where has been God while I'm going through all these troubles? I completely understand that. You're hurt. You feel betrayed. You feel like I put all my trust in this power and this power didn't show up. But I want to show you, while you feel the power didn't show up for you, it actually did. And when you just look at that, you're like, oh my God, it actually did. The burden that you've been carrying, that I'm responsible for myself, you can actually put it down. You can feel the lightness in your body. Wouldn't that be wonderful? And again, whatever I teach from my personal experience. Something that I have not tried and tested in my own life, I try my best not to ever teach it. And I was at a point where I went through these emotions, like, where is God? Why it's not working out? Why I'm feeling so alone? Why I'm feeling lost? And then step by step, I did learn how to transform that within me and how to live a life that feels so much lighter, so much more beautiful. At the same time, I do have the opportunity to stay in a very dark place, but I chose to switch towards light by activating more light within me. And you can do that every single day. So the first step is uplifting your consciousness. Now, what is consciousness? So consciousness is at the level that you're thinking. If you're thinking on a lower vibrational level, you are tapped into lower consciousness. If you're thinking on a higher vibrational thoughts, you're at a higher level of consciousness. For example, I'm so scared that I'm going to freeze during my speech is a thought of lower consciousness. A higher consciousness thought would be, I am so sure that I am going to do a wonderful job because light is always present for me. Or it's not me who's going to do the speech, it's actually the light channeling through me is going to do the work. Those are very higher level consciousness thoughts. So my job is every morning when I wake up, I want to tap into that higher consciousness first thing in the morning. So some people, as soon as they wake up, they'll say, thank you, God, for bringing back my soul. There's so many people who actually die while they're sleeping. So they would say, like, thank you for bringing this light back into my body that is actually helping me get up. Starting with that gratitude and then having a conversation with God. You can even say, God, what is it that you want me to do? if you feel easier to use the word light, you can say the light within me. What is it that I'm supposed to do today? How can I carry more light into my day today? Whatever I am doing, how can I bring more light to it? When I'm talking to my kids, how can I tap into more light at that time? Any questions that you want to ask, you want to have a conversation back and forth. And the most wonderful thing is, some people they think they are so low and the higher power is so high, who they are to have a direct conversation. And oh my God, is it my mind doing this with me? Is it my ego talking, or is it really God talking? You have to talk. The more you talk, the easier it will be for you to tell the difference between the two. And again, speaking from experience, I did started talking, going in my inner world, sitting in meditation. And at this point, I can tell the difference if it's a guide, if it's my higher self, or if it's God talking to me directly. You will start telling the difference by practicing it. Now, most of the people, I know in this group, everybody is a woman, or most of the people, viewers that I have are women. A woman can tell the difference between different shades of pink, because we do have that ability to tell the difference in slightest shades. So most men cannot do it because they don't work with shades. They usually work with a direct color. We'll put a pink in front of them, they'll be like, oh, it's pink. But a woman can tell you what shade of pink it is. The same way, when you exercise that ability within you to connect with that invisible power that is around you, when you start connecting with that, you start to feel the difference. But you have to do it first thing when you wake up in the morning. Why we have to do it then? We live in a world where there's mass consciousness. Right now, what's happening in one part of the world and how fearful those people are feeling right now, those fears are being added to the collective consciousness. So some people right now, they're going to just feel so down and low, and they'll be like, I have no idea if I'm feeling that way, but then they'll look at the news and they'll be like, oh, okay, somewhere this thing is going on. I'm feeling the effect of it. So collectively, consciousness is always going to have something going on, but I need to be conscious. So I stay on my road, so I don't get swept away with mass consciousness. So every morning when I wake up, I have a blank page and I can create something beautiful on that page. So as soon as I wake up and I make an effort to connect with light, that is when I am plugged into light. Now, what most people do as soon as they wake up, every single religion has some kind of ritual early in the morning. But we are doing them more like, as it's just a ritual, as a chore. I have to do it. I have to pray in the morning. I have to kneel down and talk to God for a few minutes. Or maybe I have to light a candle, or I do have to do this kind of worship, or maybe I'm just going to sit here in meditation. But what we are talking about, consciously connecting with God, having a conversation, feeling so worthy that you can actually talk to him. It's going to start building your trust with him and in the life that you're living. Trust in any relationship starts with communication, a two-way communication. When you know I have asked for something, I have received it. Again, I asked, I have received it. Again, I asked, and I have received an answer. It might not come in a physical form, but somebody is talking to me. You start believing. You start realizing, hey, somebody got me. I'm okay in this relationship. That is trust. When you feel like no matter what will happen, I'll be okay here, that is trust within yourself. And the same thing applies to any relationship. So the first thing is having a conversation with God, resetting your consciousness for the day. You could be going through the biggest crisis of your life. Last night, maybe you went to sleep, you had no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. But when you wake up tomorrow, have a conversation with God, You make the intention, I'm going to think higher consciousness thoughts. I'm going to think miraculously a solution will come. I'm going to think I'm going to get over my fear and really step into my power. I'm going to think that the project that I put in front of me, I am finishing it. Laziness doesn't exist anymore. What we generally do, we beat ourselves first thing in the morning. Like, yesterday you should have done this and you didn't do it. So we are switching from that to consciously tapping into higher consciousness. I'm telling you, friends, try it for a week and you will see a difference in your life. The second one is feeling the presence of God. Now, a lot of people, they feel like, I don't feel him. I don't really feel him. So this is what we are going to do. It's a very small exercise. So you're just gonna relax, close your eyes, take a deep breath, relax your body. Now inhale and feel this light that is entering within you right now. It's coming directly from God. And now exhale. It's going back to God. Inhale. Light is coming from God. And now it's going back to God. Inhale. All the blessings that are coming to you. Exhale all the thoughts of lower consciousness exiting you. Inhale, and now feel his presence entering into you. He's giving you life in this moment, nurturing every single organ of your body, keeping every single cell of your body alive. I really want you to feel with that awareness or feeling or acknowledgement. Someone is keeping you alive right now. Feel that power entering your body with every breath. And exhale. Feel that power entering into your body with inhale and exhale. And as you inhale, focus on the gap between the exhale, the stillness in it. That is where you can start feeling that light is all around you. It's within you. It's in every single cell of your body, keeping you alive, giving you in every single moment. It never stops giving you. It's giving you life right now. You're alive because of the presence of this light. Because this light has decided to keep you alive in this moment. Do you feel his presence? You can also just ask him, let me feel you. Let me feel you all around me. And this is something, I'm opening my eyes. This is something you can do as many times in the day as you want. I personally, some days, depending on what kind of day I'm having, I will do it like 3-4 times a day. So I pray 5 times. So after every prayer, I'll just sit there and be like, God, let me feel you. I really want to feel you. Sometime when I'm meditating, during my meditation, there's a silence part. I do all guided meditations. When there's a silence part, instead of going somewhere else, I will just say, God, let me just feel you. I am consciously making an effort to feel his presence, to feel the light. You can also just close your eyes and say, I want to see the light within you, within me. I want to feel my own light. Because light comes from light. I didn't create it, you didn't create it. There is a higher power who created it. So when you consciously start feeling God, you start trusting God. that even when the situation is becoming so tough, so impossible, this power is right here and it will show up for you. One of the experience that I had, it carried me for the longest time. So it was a couple of weeks before my divorce case was going to get finalized. I was also getting laid off. The school was going to be virtual, and it was in one of the sessions in higher brain living. So I was the recipient of higher brain living. So my mentor, facilitator, and my mentor who's leading me through that session, at one point when I was just so deep in it, I was just having a conversation with God. It almost felt like he said, "We'll take care of you." And it almost felt like somebody has spoken those words to me. So when I was going through switching my careers, not going for finding a job, but I had decided if somebody say, "What do you want, Alia?" I want to do this work. That's the deciding, or, the fork in the road I was standing. And one thing that really carried me through that moment, I was like, God said he'll take care of me. I have to trust him now. And I was able to take the biggest leap of faith in my whole life as a single parent in the midst of pandemic. And God did take care of me. And I have been able to transform so many lives, so many families, not just mine, but the clients that I serve or the content that I share. It started with that one voice that I heard. It carried me through. So you have no idea what you will discover in that deep connection with God, just between you and the light, between your light and that bigger light. You have no idea what you will discover. No one can give you that gift. Only you can give that to yourself. You have to carve out some time and sit with that by yourself. I can only share with you, hey, do this, and this would create this. But you're the person who have to do it to benefit from it. But I can tell you, once we do have this skill where we trust life and we trust God, we truly become fearless. Like right now, I cannot even think anything on top of my head that I'm afraid of. Maybe as I grow more fears will come to the surface and I'll be able to work through them at that time. But all the fears I used to have, one by one, they just started not having any hold on me, because I have this feeling within me, hey, I am being supported by light. Life supports me. God supports me. There are days I am just going around in my home saying this affirmation. Life supports me. God supports me. Life supports me. Life always loves me. Because the part of our mind that focuses on the problem, it needs a lot of affirmation, stillness, feeling to really switch its focus from the problem to the solution and the possibility of the solution. So that's why we do this work every single day. We have to do it. The last one is practicing certainty. Now, certainty is something that is one of our very, very basic needs. We all need to feel certain. But when we put that certainty in God, in life, that somebody is supporting us, but we are verbalizing it every single day, we are consciously practicing it. Hey, I want to do this thing, and I know God is going to make it happen for me. I just know it. It's not a wish. It's not like, it'd be nice if it happened. Oh, let me see if it will happen. It's none of that energy. It's a knowing. I know it will happen. I am 100% sure it will happen. That power, that light is so powerful. It can transform any situation. It can make anything happen. And again, this is a belief that you'll be nurturing every single day, every single moment. Whenever the doubt will come, you'll be like, you know what? I'm going to focus to being more certain. No, I just want to take that leap of faith. And these are experiences. Once you put your faith in one incident and you see it come true, more will come true. because now you're having more faith in it. Now you're like, oh, this works, this works. Let me ask for something even bigger and put even more faith in it. And you know, this is something I'm so grateful to my coach taught me, David Nagel. In the beginning, he was like, you have to experience it for you to start keep practicing it. So 6-7 months into the program, a moment did come where I had no choice but to practice this certainty. I did. I saw the results. And as soon as the result is in front of me, my mind goes right back to, well, it happened once. We'll see if it happens again. It's back in doubt. So I had to put all the energy again for the result to show up again. The result showed up again and again and again. And a time came where I got convinced that when I put in certainty, consciously, it does happen. But if we never practice and we're just dilly-dallying around, well, maybe it will happen. Or if I think it won't happen, then I won't be disappointed. Let me set the bar so low so I'm not disappointed. That's not trusting God or life. And that is a very unhealthy way of living for yourself too. You're just living on the edge all the time, ready to fall any minute, actually expecting to fall any minute. It's not good for our nervous system. That's why most of us have a lot of cellular stress, and it's creating all kind of diseases within us. Well, there is another way of being, and that is putting trust, learning to trust life and God. So 3 things that we talked about: uplifting your consciousness every single day, as soon as you wake up in the morning, and really commit to that, because that is a muscle you're going to build. The second one is feeling the presence of God. You don't even have to sit down. If you're a person who's not used to praying, or you don't pray, you're driving down the highway and just say, God, let me feel you. I want to talk to you. Just building a connection with that light that moves through you all day long. And then the third one is practicing certainty. Wherever there's a doubt, train yourself to be certain. And once you start practicing it, it becomes such a way of living that you don't want to go living with that doubt anymore. Like my body has an aversion to doubt. Whenever I'm slightly going that way, my body rejects it. So these are the 3 steps that we can practice to nurture more trust in life and God, and truly making our life easier, because we are living with our own light, and we are transforming the darkness within us, or staying away from the darkness within us. Because every moment we do have a chance to either listen to the darkness or listen to the light, or hang out with the darkness within us or hang out with the light within us. Choose light every single day. So that is all that I have for you guys today, and I'll see you on another Love Circle next Thursday. If this is the kind of work you want to do, you want to build that deep trust within you, you want to work through those problems that are going on, please reach out to me. If you are watching this random video, you can just Google Alia the Love Coach and you'll find me. So I'll see you next Thursday. Sending you so much love. Bye.